Hello, beautiful. It's Philly here from Chris and Philly Functional Medicine. I'm here to embody burnout. That is my life's purpose. It is what occupies most of my thoughts, my research, my own personal development. I just want to get to the deepest root cause as to why our body systems burn out and end it for good. And I believe there is a solution. So today I want to talk about pain. Now, if you watched my video from last week, it was pretty much part one of what if pain is your friend topic. So in my previous blog, I spoke about the way that every cell in our body craves safety and protection, and how our nervous system is designed to alert us of danger through physical pain signals. So that's like health issues, like whether that's chest tightness, anxiety, bloating, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea, eczema, hormonal issues. All of these are physical pain symptoms, which are signals that something is not right, and loving messages from your body to say, hey, you're feeling the pain, let's do something about this before things get worse. Okay, so if you missed that video, you might want to go back and listen to that, so that my story that I want to share today kind of makes a bit more sense. But basically, the video covers three main threats that will cause pain to switch on. So that would be external environmental threats is number one, physical imbalances in your body, and then broken rapport with yourself. So go back and listen to that if you haven't yet listened to that. Okay, so while most people are pretty aware that physical pain and health symptoms are elicited by environmental threats, so that would be like something scary, frightening happening in your environment. Sometimes they can be real, sometimes they can be perceived. And, most people are aware that your body will respond to those in a painful, tension, disease kind of way. And a lot of people are now more aware that there can be some serious physiological imbalances in the body that go beyond what GP tests for, that will also elicit these symptoms. And that's why most people come to us for functional medicine. However, what not many people are aware of, especially in the health industry, is that a broken rapport with self can also cause health issues and pain signals to switch on. And in fact, I would actually argue is the deepest root cause of body burnout in the first place. So I wanted to focus more on the broken rapport with self as a pain signal, so that you can really get a real life understanding as to what this actually means and how you can switch off your pain signals by healing your mind. Okay, so I'm going to share a heartburn story. I recently, like on my blog, I don't know, a few years ago, I did write a post about how I physically healed from chronic heartburn that really was going on for about 15 years. 15 years, bad heartburn, almost daily. Healed that when I first started doing functional medicine. So that would have been about 7 or so years ago. And I did my own lab testing. I did my own physical protocols. And one really important thing was that I found that I had Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacterial pathogen that causes heartburn, as well as a bucket load of other pathogens that were just flaring up everything, and adrenal fatigue, which all affect gut health. So anyway, all the physical healing of the gut and my adrenals worked fantastic in resolving my heartburn, but only for about 5 or so years. See, what happened was in 2020, everyone will remember what happened in March 2020, the COVID pandemic hit, and a lot of my old health issues started flaring up, including heartburn. And I wasn't really surprised at the time when it happened. I was under a lot of stress, overwhelm, like a lot of people were. And while I was super frustrated that the heartburn had come back after thinking that I had healed it, I knew I'd addressed the heartburn earlier on, so I thought I could do it again. I'm like, oh, it's all good. Got to calm the farm down. Let's do the gut healing. Let's do the lab testing. Let's do all of that. It's going to work this time, like it did last time, and everything will be okay. So that's what I did. I ran labs, did protocols. My lab tests, I was like certain that H. pylori was back, but it wasn't. Didn't show up on any lab testing. In fact, my stool test was pretty clean of pathogens. There was no leaky gut. There was nothing like that. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a SIBO test now. So I went and did a SIBO breath test. Hadn't ever done one of those before because there wasn't really any need to back when I was healing everything else. But I'm like, there's got to be another reason. So I did a SIBO test and SIBO came back positive, but only like minute amounts. Probably even with a client, I might have just said, hey, let's just try maybe just addressing this with doing a SIBO diet. But anyway, I'm like, this is it, SIBO. I've got SIBO. This is causing the heartburn. So I did a 2-week elemental diet, which if anyone else has done that, I know I have some clients who have, it is the hardest 2 weeks of your life because basically you're just drinking a nutritional medicine shake and no food. And I love food, so it was really hard. Okay, so anyway, I did that, did a retest. SIBO was clear. I'm like, yes, that 2 weeks was worth it. Just a little secret though, I actually didn't do 2 weeks. I think I caved at day 10 or day 12 and I retested early because I'm like, oh, I can't do it for any longer. I was such a sook. But anyway, super excited. SIBO was clear. I'm like, yes. Okay, great. When I start eating food, heartburn. Going to be so much better. Started eating food. Heartburn was there and probably even worse. And so I went on for a good few months, maybe even 6 months, feeling super deflated. I thought the only option, I'd kind of done everything. I'd done the apple cider vinegar, I'd done digestive enzymes, I'd done hydrochloric acid, I'd addressed any pathogens that showed up, such as the SIBO, which isn't really a pathogen, but anyway. I was doing everything. I even did a H. pylori protocol thinking that maybe the SIBO test missed H. pylori. Still no issues. So the only thing I could think of was maybe there was so much damage done from the original infection and for whatever reason my gut is just broken and can't heal. Is really what I kind of got to the point to thinking. And so then my only option was, well, maybe I just need to manage what I'm eating. So eat really small amounts and then I won't get a heartburn, and try and reduce histamine foods because I found that a lot of the histamine foods would flare up the heartburn. But not all the time, but most of the time. So anyway, this just did my head in though, because one, I love food, and also my deepest belief around food and nutrition is that a healthy body should be able to eat all healthy foods and even some unhealthy foods every now and then with no issues. So the fact that I was still getting this pain signal and this symptom, even though I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my body physiologically because I tried all the things, that was really deflating. And it also just, motivated me more after I got out of the woe is me phase, motivated me even more to like, okay, let's look outside the box. What haven't I done? And so I started investigating other reasons why my health issues were still lingering. And I knew I'd done all the physical stuff. I'm like, I got to go beyond just trying to physically heal my gut because it's not working this time. And this is when I came across my now life coach, although I've finished his program, Jamin Fraser. So in his book, he's written an amazing book called Unhindered, The 7 Essential Practices of Overcoming Insecurity. Highly recommend it for everybody to read. It is life-changing. Jamin talks about health issues as being a sign of unaddressed insecurity. And so I was like, okay. And in his book, something really specific really grabbed my attention and kind of like just really like I felt it in my heart and every cell in my body. So I'm going to read this. So he said, your body craves health. And this is also coming from a neuro-linguistic programming presupposition. So an NLP presupposition is that our bodies crave health. And in Jamin's words, health is the default. When you take the handbrake off and give yourself permission to flourish, health is where you end up. Being unhealthy, sick, and carrying excess weight is serving you by protecting you from what you are most afraid of. So I read that and then I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. What have I not discovered about myself that might be keeping me in this sick state? Now, Chris and I mean, we were already preaching and teaching the body-mind connection in our health practice for like a good, I don't know, year and a half or a couple of years before I came across Jamin's book and his podcast and everything else that led to me working with him. So it wasn't new for me. Like, I knew that the body and the mind is connected and that health issues, often comes from a place of how we feel and think and feel about ourselves. But I thought my mind was fine. Like, I thought that I'd done work. I was really good at staying motivated. I was really good at doing all the healthy things. I was managing my stress. I now say managing because I was only managing my dysfunctional response to stress, not actually addressing it. So initially I thought, no way, it's not an emotional mental thing. No way, Jose. But after reading that segment in the book, I thought, well, the fact that I still have heartburn and also there's some dysfunctional patterns and behaviors showing up in my life, which were affecting not just my health, but my relationships, my happiness, even our finances and our business, made me realize that there was deeper inner work to be done. Behavior never lies. So, I had done work. I had done personal development. I had worked on my mind. I had worked on my lifestyle. But the fact that I was still showing up with symptoms meant that I hadn't done all the work. I just started it. That is a really important thing to bear mind of, because a lot of people say the same thing when they come to us. They're like, oh, no, my mind's fine. I meditate, I do breath work. I worked with a psychologist or whatever. Yet they're still stuck in sickness and in like behavioral patterns that are causing their sickness. So they've started the work, but they haven't done the work. Maybe there's just only been self-awareness work, but not actually the transformational work. Anyway, so I worked with Jamin for about 6 months to really dive deep into my own hidden self-limiting beliefs and insecurities, which reaped amazing results in all areas of my life. I actually did a podcast with Jamin just a few weeks ago. It's up on his The Insecurity Project podcast. If you want to listen to me talking about that for 90 minutes and what I did and all my results and how hard it was, then definitely go check out that podcast. But for now, I just want to tell you one of the results that I saw in doing this work, and that was healing heartburn. It was actually an incredible experience, and I may get emotional when I share this. Okay, so it was about 4.5 months into doing like really deep inner work, and I had seen some incredible breakthroughs and improvements in my life as I was deconstructing and rewriting my own weak and incapable beliefs about myself. Yet the damn heartburn was still there. And I remember during a coaching session with Jamin, I was a bit deflated. I'm like, oh, the heartburn's still there. Look, it wasn't really something that was my focus anyway. I wanted other stuff to improve. I just thought, hey, if other things are improving, then maybe the heartburn will improve if it's an insecurity issue, but it hasn't improved. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the food. Maybe it's just histamine. Maybe my body just won't ever like histamine foods and I have to eat small portions and da-di-da-di-da. Anyway, basically I was pretty much saying it's not me, it's you food. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just all you food. So I'm going to have to manage how I eat you. And as I told this story, Jamin just simply responded to you, maybe you are hiding out in plain sight. And I'm like, what does that actually mean? I very well know what it means now, but for my listener right now, hiding out in plain sight is when you appear to be doing something good or healthy, but you're actually running away or hiding from the greatest fear that you have about yourself. And for me, that was my old belief system that I was inherently weak and incapable. And so when Jamin said that, because, it's like, yeah, I got heartburn, but I'm living really healthy. And I'm like, I'm doing really well with the way that I eat and I'm managing it. So, you know, I'm strong and capable now, yet I still got the heartburn that was hiding out in plain sight. And when Jamin said that, a supplement popped into my head that I had been taking for years. Like immediately it popped into my head, and it was my beloved Menstrual Care. Any of my clients who I've prescribed Menstrual Care to, it is an amazing, beautiful supplement that helps to balance out your female hormones. So I have a history of PCOS, irregular periods, like to the point where when it was really bad, not getting periods for every 3 to 6 months, pretty crazy. I was an emotional PMS mess, infertility, and also hormonal acne. And anyway, I tried lots of things to kind of address the hormones, and doing all the body systems worked really well, but it was Menstrual Care, which was just kind of like the cherry on the top. It was the only thing that really gave me beautiful, perfect, regular cycles, little to no PMS. Sometimes I'd just get my period and be like, oh, hello you. Delicious clear skin, as long as I was avoiding dairy. So anyway, loved this supplement, Menstrual Care. It was the love of my life. And during this conversation, heartburn conversation, I'm like, why are you popping into my head Menstrual Care? Like, what the heck do you have to do with heartburn? You certainly haven't caused it, because I was taking you Menstrual Care when I was heartburn free for those years after doing physical healing. But what I had learnt during the inner work process is that random things don't just pop into your conscious mind. Don't just come from your unconscious mind. Random things don't just pop into your conscious mind for no reason. It's always a message from your unconscious state. And so I listened. I'm like, this feels really weird and random, and I don't know why you're popping into my head, Menstrual Care, but what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me, unconscious state? How is this supplement connected to my heartburn? What are the dots that I need to connect here? Surely, in my head, I'm like, surely there's nothing wrong with taking this lovely natural medicine. It's a natural gift from Earth, and there's nothing wrong with taking it as a supportive supplement long term. But the more I listened to my unconscious state, the more I got really raw and honest with myself, I realized I was actually using the supplement as a hideout. So the truth was, I was scared to stop the supplement, because if I did, I thought my hormones would go nuts again, and that my skin would break out with pimples, and then everybody, including my clients, would think that I was unhealthy, that I didn't smoke what I preached, that I was that I was a hypocrite, and that I was a no good practitioner, that if I couldn't even have clear skin, then what use am I to anyone else? Essentially, my old dysfunctional beliefs of being weak and incapable were still stealthily hanging around inside my tissues, inside my unconscious state, even though I thought I'd fully addressed them. But behavior never lies. So my behavior of holding onto the supplements solely because I was scared about what others would think about me and my abilities as a practitioner if my skin flared up was enough evidence to my unconscious state to say, yeah, actually, Philly down there, yeah, deep down, I still think you're weak and incapable. Do you get what's going on here? It's just crazy. It's crazy the way these old beliefs and these old patterns get so stuck inside us and literally one affect our behavior and also our health issues. So anyway, when I had this realization, I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? In addition to my hiding out, the fact that I hadn't given my body and my hormones a chance to balance on their own, unsupported without the supplement, or even to see where my hormones were at, was also evidence that I didn't trust my own body's innate ability to rebalance and achieve health. Like, I just want to say just really quickly, there's nothing wrong with taking supplements. Like, I prescribe supplements to all our clients. they're really important when you need to deep physiologically heal your body. But at some point, you should be able to go off supplements and just nourish your body with good food, lovely lifestyle, a lovely calm mind, and a deep love for yourself. Should be enough. Yet I was still holding on to these supplements for years and years and years. Not because of health, but because of my fear that my skin will break out and that people would think I'm a no good practitioner. So you've got to remember that our bodies crave health. So when you address deep dysfunctional beliefs about yourself and allow yourself to truly flourish, health is where you end up. So Jamin was completely right. I was hiding out in plain sight. I was hiding behind the supplement, a lovely, natural, healthy thing to be doing. And I was pretending it was just because of supportive of my hormones and my health, when in actual fact, I was just protecting myself from being exposed as being weak and incapable. And so that day, when I had this realization, as scary as it felt, I decided to stop taking the menstrual care. And it might sound weird, but it was scary. Like, I was scared to stop taking the supplement. Because what if my skin did flare up? What if my hormones did go crazy? Well, what would it then mean about me? But I'd already done enough work by then to know that, darling Philly, you are strong, you are capable, you are enough, you're amazing exactly as you are. And it doesn't matter whatever anyone else thinks about you. And in fact, what I think other people are thinking about me, it's just like made up stuff in my head anyway, because people don't think that. And if they do, then like it's 2% of the population, whatever. And so I decided to go off the menstrual care. One, I wanted to just trust my body, just wanted to see where my body was at and give it a chance to actually like achieve homeostasis, because that's what our bodies are trying to do at every minute of the day. And I also hoped, although on one side of me was like, oh, I really hope my hormones are lovely and my skin doesn't break out. I also kind of thought, well, you know what? If my skin does break out, that's going to give me a really beautiful opportunity to work through my insecurities around my skin and what other people think about me in real time. So at this stage though, I still had no idea. Like I literally still had no idea if doing this would address the heartburn, but I knew that every time I'd listen to my unconscious state and the little thoughts, random thoughts that will pop up into my head, that every time I've listened, it's always steered me to establishing rapport with myself, and good things have always happened. So then a miracle happened, and I call this a miracle because I have no other, I call it a miracle because I wouldn't have believed it would be possible unless it had happened to me. If this was a story I'd heard, I'd be like, oh wow, you telling the truth? Although I have heard other people share similar stories, and I wholeheartedly believe that body and mind is connected, and realign with yourself and your body will achieve health. So I believe. Anyway, so that night I was eating dinner, and it was a meal high in histamine. So tomatoes, spices, starchy, gluten-free pasta, a meal I'd been eating 2 days earlier because I love to like bulk create my dinners so that there's enough for a few days later. And it had given me heartburn. Every time I'd eaten this meal, heartburn, lunch and dinner. No joke. But this time, after I decided to stop the menstrual care, after I ate the dinner, I spoke to my body. I'm like, you've got this, body. I trust you. I love you. You're whole. You're well. You're fighting for me. You're not fighting against me. You're fighting for me. I believe in you. I believe in me. I am strong. I am capable. I'm amazing. Body, you are amazing. I'm so sorry. I'm so truly sorry that I had been doubting you when I didn't even consciously know I had been. And as I spoke to my body, the most beautiful thing happened. From the top of my throat right down to the bottom of my gut, I felt the most intense feelings of energy and light and love cascade from one end of my gut to the other. I can't explain it in any other way than I was spiritually being healed. That is how it felt. And I'm getting emotional right now, and I'm literally just brought this feeling on inside my body right now, which is just a beautiful thing that I've now learnt to do. Like I feel spiritually cleansed and healed right now as I speak, which has this amazing domino effect on my actual physical and physiology body. So that was intense though. When it first happened, I had my empty bowl in front of me. I burst out crying. I burst out in tears of awe, of gratitude, of forgiveness, of tears of pure love for myself and for my amazing body. And there was no heartburn, like no heartburn. Even when logically this meal, this starchy, high histamine meal should have caused the heartburn, there was none. And I kid you not, for the next 2 days, every time I ate food or after I ate food, I felt the same feelings of love and light and energy ripple from my throat to the bottom of my gut. And there was no heartburn. I literally felt like Superwoman because I did this. No one else did this for me or to me. It wasn't even like I had a Reiki person or an energy healer or taking a supplement or whatever. I was powerful enough that I had created this healing inside my body simply with the tools I have inside me. And the reason why it worked for me was because I came out of hiding and I deeply trusted my body and my own innate nature. I was able to finally calm my nervous system down. If you want to kind of like think about the science side of things, it's not just woo-woo. It's literally like, you believe in me again. Thank you, Philly. Now I don't feel like the tiger's chasing me all the time. Now I can be calm. Nervous system can be calm. And that allowed the physiological pain signal, like the actual physiological symptom that I was getting, the heartburn, and this signal that was coming from my unconscious state to turn off. Like my body was and is incredible. So now I have a really deep, like I had a knowledge understanding that body and mind is connected and that issues can get stuck in your tissues and all that sort of stuff. Like read heaps of books, love all that stuff, love to talk about that with clients, but I'd never really experienced it for myself. And so now I have a really deep understanding that health symptoms are never just physical. Like the body and mind are fully connected, and your spirit, body, mind, and spirit. And your unconscious state is controlling everything, including how your nervous system and other body organs function. And I just think now, like, how extraordinary is it that our unconscious state can communicate to us through our bodies, even though it is through pain often, because that's the easiest way it can grab our attention, to keep us safe and soulfully happy. And I see pain now as a friend, as a loving communication pathway, letting us know when something isn't quite right. So you might be thinking, am I heartburn free? Was I just heartburn free for like those 2 days when I was feeling the love and the light ripple through my body? No, I've had a few flare-ups, like literally only 3. And they lasted for about 6 hours to 48 hours since I had this initial experience. And when my heartburn flared up, initially I thought, oh, it was the food, because it was always triggered after I ate food, and usually high histamine foods. But the thing is, it was never the food. Even these like little flare-ups that I've had, never the food. In all 3 times that I've had the heartburn flare up again since the initial healing, I had broken rapport with myself in some way. Like I'd stopped believing, or I'd started believing old stories that, you know, I am weak and incapable, or I'd done something that had broken an agreement with myself. And as soon as I was able to rebuild trust with myself and realign with my true self again, the heartburn switched off immediately. I kid you not. It was there and then it wasn't. And that is how I knew it was not just a physical symptom, but it was my unconscious state using a physical symptom to get my attention. So when I've shared this story with others, many people have said, oh, wow, you're so in tune with your body. I wish I was so in tune. Wow, that's so amazing. I can't believe it. I am in tune with my body, but I'm not special. I didn't have this deep healing experience even when I physically healed like 7 or so years ago. It's not because I'm special. It's not at all. Like anyone can do this work. Any person can end their body burnout. Like it's literally how we're hardwired. Every cell is fighting for us to reach homeostasis, which is beautiful. It's just learning how to get out of your own way. So when you're willing to communicate to your body, you will also become very in tune with the signals that your body is sending you. And you can heal and you can stay well. And you may have little flare-ups or little pain or little symptoms pop up. But when you see those as communication signals, especially after you have physically healed, then holy crap, like it's life-changing, because you will constantly be able to course correct, because you'll get those signals when you know you've gone off the path. So this last few months of 2022, we've been putting together a very specific process called Spark, which is part of our Ending Body Burnout method, that I'm just so excited about. It coaches you to become your own healer and realign back to the way you are hardwired to heal. And this is something that's missing in our healthcare. It's even missing in many, almost all functional medicine practices, which focus on like healing. Yes, they talk about stress and reduce stress and do breath work and meditate and all that sort of stuff. But rarely are people being coached to rewire the brain and to address inner dysfunctional beliefs and stories and patterns and programs that are stressing out your nervous system and blocking your ability to heal. So in our Ending Body Burnout method, we've created Spark to address this, so that people actually do respond to their treatment protocols, and so that they have long-term health for life. Especially those people who are just doing all the things and you're not getting better, you're probably missing Spark. Or maybe you try to do all the things, but you just can't because you're stuck in dysfunctional, unhealthy patterns of behavior and stories. You need Spark. So the body and the mind are connected. While physical healing is super important to resolve body burnout, and it's definitely part of our toolkit. Like, we still do lab testing, we still do supplements. That's like very early on in the piece. But you will only ever get short-term relief, if at all, if you don't address the inner healing stuff as well. So if you've been listening to this story and it's really resonating with you, and you would love a holistic, like a real holistic approach to addressing your health issues and your body burnout, then feel free to reach out to learn more about our holistic signature Ending Body Burnout method. An easy way to do that is just to book in for a free discovery call. I'll put a link underneath this video if you would like to do that. And I'm just super excited about it. I just feel like Superwoman. And I love this inner work, because back in the day when I practiced probably more just like physical healing, here's some supplements based on your lab tests, here's a special diet to get your body working again, make sure you do these lifestyle things, sleep well, don't do so much, stop saying yes, get more balance in your lifestyle, all that sort of stuff, super important. But people just weren't consistently getting well or staying well, and myself included. And so if I'm on a mission to end body burnout, this deep inner work stuff has got to be part of the process. Amen. All right. I shall go now. This is one of my longer videos. We're super keen to start a podcast in 2023. So this will probably be a podcast episode, which you can listen back to or maybe never listen to again. Alrighty, see ya.